You focused, President Aznar, on the importance of a market-based economy, but we all know, let's say, that we have gone through this crisis thanks to enormous help from the states, which is probably 1/4 or 1/5, or has increased public debt in many European states to 1/4 or 1/5. So meaning our market-based economies have been extremely seriously challenged, and it's only thanks to enormous state that we have gone through the crisis of that we apparently are getting out of it. Your own country, for example, is one of the countries with one of the highest fiscal stimuli in Europe. So my question is, and certainly if I compare, for example, to the country of the President of the European Parliament, Poland, which has almost done nothing, I mean, as a fiscal stimulus, let's say, has almost not helped its banking sector, for example. I won't speak about the banking sector in Spain. That's another issue. But how do you see, let's say, this return to market economies, well-functioning market economies, which was a precondition for membership for example, the new member states? In what period of time should it happen? What should be the role of, say, the EU? What should be the role of the member state? Is this something which you see to happen, let's say, in a period of 6 months, 1 year, or is it more long-term? And also, let's say, will we soon go back to a period where we will be closer to respecting the Maastricht criteria and the Growth and Stability Pact?
Me?
That's a question.
Well, first of all, I want to express again my gratitude to President of the European Parliament, Jerzy Buzek, for your kind words. And well, first of all, I believe that the responsibility of the current crisis is not a responsibility of the market economy. It's a responsibility especially of the central governments, and especially of the central banks, especially Federal Reserve and European Central Bank and another central banks in Asia that flowed a lot of money in markets with negative rate of interest and create an enormous bubble that explode. This is the responsibility, first. Second, I think in the responses of the current crisis, to avoid the collapse, the total collapse of the financial system is a good decision, because the financial system, as you know very well, is the core of the system. Without financial system, it's impossible to function in the market economy. And to avoid the collapse of the financial system is basic. This is a very good decision, in the right track. Third, I consider that the reactions of different governments to the crisis are more in diplomatic terms opinable. In other words, more or less I am against, because I believe that the combat of fighting the current crisis with the same policies that provoke crisis only can drive us to another crisis. Fighting the current crisis with more deficits, more debts, negative rate of interest is in the future impossible to sustain. And they create the conditions for another crisis in the short term. Trying to finance the enormous deficit of some states, the enormous debt of some states, and financing the private debt in a lot of countries will be impossible with us no back to a discipline, budgetary discipline, with a stabilized financing, with make a lot of structural reforms in our economies, with more liberalization, with less taxes, with more privatizations, with more openness, with more free trade, and with less protectionism. This is exactly the recipe, is the opposite recipe to some measures of decision that manage some current governments. This is my view. And if you do that, will recover our economies more quickly than if you continue in a track that is impossible to sustain in the future.
I think President Buzek will probably, at least from his country, agree with that. I don't know.
Well, thank you very much. Well, I agree. Well, in almost 100% what was said just a few minutes ago, just now, about the whole issue. I would like to underline, maybe from different point of view, slightly, from the more global point of view. A crisis was imported from the United States. We must say it. But it was also something in our countries which was not working very well. I think, well, it was a great chapter about innovations and Lisbon strategy in FAES report. But innovation is great in every one sector except of financial sector. So financial sector in United States was too innovative. And we lost because of that. And in some countries with higher innovation level in all fields, they have of course many innovations also in financial sector. Fortunately, in my country this level is not too high. Well, it is really some part of answer. So it was easier for our financial system to survive. On the other side is the point number 2. What is our crisis mainly? Lack of trust. We lost trust between banks, in banking sector, in financial institutions, between the real economy and banking system on both sides. Everybody is saying, I don't give you money, please don't touch me. So it's a horrible situation, generally speaking. We must improve that. And it was something special in my country, because you asked about that. It's probably that maybe we didn't lose trust, that we didn't lose trust because our financial sector was not too innovative to be in difficult position. So it was just lucky. Sometimes you don't know why you can survive.
Okay, thank you.
If I could only add two things. Reforms, I agree 100%. New global governance is necessary, supervisory system, and global, also financial, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, everything we must organize in the new way, and we must remember that our first ally is United States. If anybody likes, okay. If we don't like, we must say it's United States, and we must always start with United States, but it's not enough. As it is in chapter 6, it is not enough today. We are not strong enough together, United States and European Union, to have global governance. It's impossible. It was 10, maybe 20 years ago, still possible, but not today. We need China, we need Brazil for climate change, Russia for Iran, Afghanistan, something like that, because it's all of them are problems, also economical problems, India and so on, so on. So, chapter number 6, our cooperation. I'm just talking about FAES all the time because it's important for me. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.